Namaste everyone. We have the cutest couple of District 92, DTM Abhishikta, DTM Sunil. One who has spent half a decade and another one who has spent a decade with Toastmasters. Let's start anything and everything with Anuj.
Yay!
Let's go with the first question. My favorite role was VP Education because it was my very first role at Cisco Orators Club, so I'm emotionally connected with it, and it also gave me a lot of learning. So I want to know what are your favorite club leader roles and why.
Want to take that first?
Yeah, sure. So, just not wanting to be mainstream, but VP education has been my favorite role as well. Not because I got it first, I was literally pushed into the role because, of course, there was nobody volunteering for it. But what I loved about that role was there was so much free space to do what you want. I had the kindest president at that term, Toastmaster Pranam. I still am in very good connect with him. He gave me a full space to do whatever I wanted, educational sessions, podcasts, and that was when halfway through my VP education role, COVID came big time. So I had all of my time and energy to go for a podcast series as well, because back in that time people coming on video was an absolute no. Nobody would come on video no matter what you do. So I started doing a podcast series, which of course was not this video like it was all just podcast and all words. And then it helped me connect with the members better. I in fact felt my connect with the members were in fact better than what I had in my VP membership role, because I know exactly which level they are, exactly which level we wanted them to reach to get them into certain DCP point Excel sheet and for their own development as well. So I have enjoyed doing that role a lot, and also you get to vote for that role.
I can totally relate to your experience as VP Education because I had a similar experience as VP Education. Let's hear it from DTM Sunil.
So I think for me, the role of VPPR was something which has uh, drawn me to get towards it, right? And this is the one role which has given me some kind of recognition in the district. I mean, if people know me, right, as of now in district, they know that I have done a lot of PR
How
work.
surprising, Sunil. We are just surprised.
So VPPR was that one role which was very exciting to me, and very coincidentally, I didn't take up this role initially. My first role in my Toastmasters journey was SA, right? And that was also I was pushed into it. I mean, there was nobody to take it up. I was a very new member. I just wanted to understand Toastmasters and everything. My president was very kind. They were like, just do it. I mean, you would learn on the go, and that's how my SA journey started. But the that was a crucial point when in I think 2017 or 18, I no not 17 18 I think 16 के आसपास I think yeah 16 I took up this role 16 or 17 when I came to Infosys Bangalore, and I actually had a very good there was an election going on, okay, for BPPR, and elections were taken very seriously in Infosys Toastmasters Bangalore at that point of time. We had a membership around 50. I had one opponent against me, and I took all my creative efforts to create a video which was without an audio. Okay, so I was the one who was giving an voice to that video, but that whole video was around why one should vote for me, what are the things I bring to the table, and I think that was one of the best efforts I have given till now in the VPPR role, and that is one thing which has helped me. That role has helped me to reach out to the masses, to connect with a lot of members, to all the guests across the board in district. So yeah, I have enjoyed PPPR role the most.
I have a follow-up question to your pitch.
Hmm.
The pitch that you delivered uh, to people to vote for you, did it also help you during Division C elections?
No, so I have lost division contest one, not the contest, the division elections once. Didn't help much. Okay, so I mean elections are a different ball game altogether.
That's a
right?
different podcast series.
Exactly. It's a different ball game altogether. Elections are very different things, right? But yes, what I wanted to convey is that role was very pivotal in my whole Toastmasters journey, because that is how I got recognition, right? Through the PR work which I have been doing till now, right? Be it at the club level or at the division area or district level, whatever work I have done, that is something which I have. A lot of people have resonated with me. A lot of people have connected with through my PR work, and once I took up the PR role as well, at the area or the division or the district level till now, right? a lot of people have connected with me through this role, right? And that's how I have been known across the board to everyone. So yeah, this is one role which I thoroughly enjoy.
We just spoke about your favorite club leadership role, but the bigger question is why should one take up a club leadership role?
See, the answers are many, and many people take it up for various roles. Some are pushed into it, some volunteer for it. But ideally, one should volunteer for it, and I will quote this very nice thing which DTM Serish taught me once. That once you start working for an organization and once you grow in the ladder for your corporate organizations, you will learn leadership and people will follow you because of certain motives which generally involve their career growth, money, etc. In Toastmasters, once you take up leadership, people will not follow you or work under you or work for you because they are getting anything out of it. You are serving the organization as much as they are serving the organization. And to take up leadership and still get your work done. Now, this is a very different art altogether. You will not absolutely learn it in corporates when people have a motive while they work for something. Second is, as we are going towards agile in our corporates, most of the corporates are agile these days. So we are slowly looking into a future where people will not be under you, people will not work for you. Everybody works as a team, everybody works as a squad. And once this future comes in all together, I work as an agile coach and I can vouch that this is our tomorrow. This leadership skills of Toastmasters of working with a team, taking everybody in how and how to ensure that every leader, every member gets their work done while you also progress. This is what any of the leadership roles teach you, and that is wherein you can learn it before you really learn it in your corporate or any other sector that you work in. Any leadership role in the club that we take, each of it, even a treasurer role, it is so important, it is so difficult, it teaches you so much for the life outside. This safe zone where you learn the skills, you actually implement it outside, and that is wherein any person should go and explore. There are so many clubs where we have elections for every role, and it is such a healthy thing to witness. I have seen people hug. I have been a part of election recently, and I remember all three of us hugged each other, and then we went for elections because we knew anybody who gets that role, it is going to be so tough for them. But we all wanted to take it up so badly. So any club officer role teaches you so much for your life outside, and it should be cherished and taken up amazingly.
If I have to summarize, one can learn persuasion and people management. Is that true?
In
In Toastmasters leadership.
persuasion, people management, yes, there is so much of self learning, there is so much of time management, there is so much of conflict management. The learnings are plenty. You cannot just put a finger on one learning or two learnings in a leadership role. I learned technical skills in my leadership role. I was technically challenged. I had no idea how to even change a background in Zoom, and it is such a weird thing to say now since we are all living in this era. But I have no shame in accepting Toastmasters leadership taught me this. So what you get out of it is very different from person to person, but you will definitely get something out of any role you take in Toastmasters.
There are hundreds of things which are available, right? Art of delegation, organizing, managing. Different people get different skills out of it, and different people pursue different skills from the leadership. But there are a lot of things to learn, right? And once you get into it, you will learn. You'll start learning it. You'll start exploring it. Somebody gets into leadership for a different thing, right? They might think that okay, this is one skill which I'm going to learn, and once they get in, they learn other 100 things along with it as well.
Imagine Sunil learned how to make memes while he took up the VPPR role, and it has got nothing to do with VPPR role, but now it is so important. You will learn the art of podcasting in your division director role, which are not related, but you are still learning something out of a leadership role you took. So that's that.
Abhishikta, you just spoke about conflict management that one will learn in their leadership role. DTM Sunil, how will you approach when there is a conflict between two club leaders?
Okay, I think conflicts. There are two aspects to this question. Okay, a conflict can be a creative difference between these two leaders as well. Okay, and wherever there is a creative difference or a difference of opinions, right? Usually that creates a window for something new to be created, right? And that completely depends upon the maturity of the leaders, and as well as what I have learned and what I have seen, how usually a conflict is resolved, is you approach somebody, a third party, or somebody you both of you respect or probably judge their judgment, right? Respect their judgment. You approach that person, tell them the differences, what exactly is happening, right? And that can be resolved if you guys can come up to a neutral point where you could go ahead and achieve whatever you both want to do, right? But I've also seen a lot of situations where it was not about the conflict, it was more about the differences between them, right? Especially it happens in the PR role, right? They have the creative opinion differences that, okay, this is not looking good, this might be too flashy, right? And something new then is created, right? Which can satisfy both the needs, but is completely new, right? So you always have that window of opportunity in case you want to, right, explore something new. But for conflicts, usually, right, if it is between two club officers, approach your president. The president might help you out in between to get a final decision, and that is something which needs to be followed. That's what can be resolved.
So currently you are serving as the president of Spoken Word. What if you are directly involved in a conflict?
In that scenario, probably I would reach out to the past leaders of the club or the area director of the somebody who is, I mean, not part of that conflict as of now, right? And can give a proper judgment over it, who doesn't bring in any biases in between that conflict, right? And that's how, if you know that the other party, the person, let's say I'm having conflict with somebody, right? That person also respect that person, the third party person, and he knows he is not going to bring any biases, and whatever decision he's going to finally give or take, right? That decision will be acceptable to him as well, and he'll be able to understand the idea, what exactly he's trying to convey, right? And also most of the time the conflict is about timing. Okay, in the heat of the moment you don't agree, but once you go back and reflect and introspect, probably you understand that okay, you were wrong at that point of time, right? Timing plays a very important role while in conflict management. So what I usually do, if there is a conflict, and if I am there in a conflict, I don't directly resolve it at then and there, right? I mean, there might be a situation where you have to do it then and there, but most of the cases you can go back, calm down, reflect, introspect, and then come back and take a final call. And as a president, it's a huge responsibility for you, right? So you have to be a little bit calm in that situation. Don't go too overboard.
So DTM Abhishikta, let's say you have transferred your membership to Spoken Word.
That's the division director speaking.
So let's say you have transferred your membership to Spoken Word, and Sunil comes to you to resolve a conflict. How will you approach it?
As the president of
Not as a president, as a third party or a neutral person.
There will be a conflict of क्या बोलते हैं उसको?
Conflict of interest.
Yes, that was the word I was looking, the phrase I was looking, conflict of interest.
No, but jokes apart, this is something I try and implement in my work as well. While I try and implement conflict management. First things is when two people are in conflicts, and it's a 7-person team in Toastmasters Leadership XCOM, right? You don't need the entire world to know about the conflict. You see a conflict just flickering, just about to start, as a president or as a third party trying to resolve it. First, stop it there and keep it between the close group. There is absolutely no need for the world to know what has happened. And in Toastmasters, we all use fancy words like be open and transparent and let's talk. So yes, first let's talk, and as a president or as a group or as an XCOM, it is very important when we fill club success plan in the beginning of the year, right? And mostly what we ignore is to discuss that club success plan with the 7 officers. As a president and as a team, we should first sit not just the club success plan, what are we trying to achieve in the next 6 months? That goal should be set. Now if our conflicts are to achieve that goal and one person's opinion is going to make that better, of course you should sit and talk about it. If any of these conflicts are personal and it is hampering the overall goal of the club, I differ with a lot of leaders in this. There is no place for this in the club. Your personal conflicts can be taken up personally. There is no need to involve the club, any member over it. But if a conflict is for the growth of the club, I think there is nothing more healthy than that. We've been part of so many conflicts in the past 1 or 2 years for the betterment of our district, and everything has always turned out to have such great results. So even as a third person, if somebody approaches, a lot of people are approached for third person views, right? It is also very important to say no at certain points, because I do not know anything about spoken word, and I cannot come and go tell Sunil that, oh my god, this person is wrong and you are my husband, you are right, even though you are the president. That's just wrong. So a lot of district leaders, a lot of Toastmasters members are involved in conflicts where their opinion is not going to make a difference. That is wherein we should subtly say no and give them a high level your take on conflicts, and that's it. But as a group, as a club, as a president or any other role taker, if our first goal is set that we want to excel the club, and then we have conflicts on how to, if we want to have the 150th meeting at a clubhouse or a resort, these are healthy conflicts, okay? These are going to be better for the club. These things should be discussed further on, and democratic decisions are what we have always volunteered in Division C or the district, and that I think is going to help any club. So I would have taken that path.
If a conflict comes to me and it is related to some goals, I will be really, really happy, because I'll be happy about at least people are working, or at least thinking about working.
They are interested.
Talking
They are
about
interested.
it. They're interested and talking about
Yes.
it.
While I was serving as the VP Education of Cisco Orators Club, there was one challenge which I personally faced, was motivating members to deliver speeches. So how should one VP Education should approach in their club motivate members to deliver more speeches?
What we generally take up wrongly is VP educations are misunderstood a lot, okay? They say that they come up only to us for begging for speeches, asking for speeches, chasing for speeches, but they are not devils. Poor VP educations, my heart goes out for you. And I attended a meeting recently at Iconic where the speaker came and said, sorry district officers, but DCPs don't matter and all of that. Agreed. Okay, we are not here chasing DCPs at all, but DTM Powers once said, and it was very beautiful, that what you cannot measure, you cannot manage. And we are not talking about micromanagement here. We are really talking about a sustainable growth in your educational journey. There are so many, more than 60% of a club's growth totally depends on how well you do as in terms of educational award filing. And as VP education, if a member has come in new, if you show them the dashboard and say this is what we want as a club, they will not understand. First thing, leave this away from the new member. What we tried doing was, we had a board. I used to be the VP education at Stagecoach, and we had this board where we would give them points that in 1 month one person has delivered how many speeches, to best Toastmaster of the month. All of this a lot of clubs do. Even when you are not doing that, as VP education, you should be thorough with all the projects that are there in all the parts. Most of the projects are similar in many lines, at least in terms of electives. Now you understand what interests the member. A member who has just joined today, you cannot go and tell them try high performance leadership because we want a level 4 completion. No. Maybe that person has a blog. You might want to tell them, hey, have you tried the elective that has a blog? So as VP education, we kind of think that VP members part is to go talk to the members and know what interests them if they have problem. But no, as VP education also, and any leader for that matter, it's important that you know your members, you know what interests them, and then carve out the learning path based on their interests, because not everybody shares your level of enthusiasm. Not everybody will plan their level 1, 2, 3, 4. I remember Sunil was my area director when I was a new Toastmaster, and Sunil came and told me, oh my god, you should be a path breaker by December. In July he told me this sentence, and I had no idea what is a path breaker, and I was like, who is this guy? I was meeting him for the first time. This is a true story. But when he told me that you should be a path breaker, I took up the initiative to understand what each of these mean. But not everybody shares the same interest. He told the same thing to one more person, and I don't know where that person is in Toastmasters now. So let's be cognizant and understand that some people have no idea what each of these mean. He instead went and told some other people, oh my god, you are new, you are a new hire, go try icebreaker. It is just like introducing yourself. So you have to understand what you want to pitch to each of these people. And anyway, humans like interaction. We love talking, we love expressing. So just channelize what dialogue should come from which mouth, and you would be super successful.
Adding to the point what Abhishikta mentioned, I think a small difference here. I don't feel that it's only the responsibility of VP education to motivate members to deliver speeches. The primary job of asking the member is of the mentors, right? And that's why I think a lot of VP educations they are asked to allocate mentors as soon as a new member joins them, and it's the mentor's responsibility to see the progress of that club member, right? And the VP education, what they can do is they approach the mentor and just ask what exactly is happening, right? If you have a club member of more than 20 members, you can't expect a VP education with also managing the club meetings, right? Organizing, making the agenda, and then follow up with all the 20 members to I speak, when are you giving the speech, my speech will be there, right? So the onus usually comes upon the mentors, and how good the mentor-mentee relationship is, right, usually determines how many speeches are getting delivered at the end of the day.
One thing which I have learned from DTM Ratish is that his art of comforting people to deliver speeches. He has comforted me once when I was not ready to deliver icebreaker. I was postponing it to maybe next week or 2 weeks later. But then he comforted me in such a way that I was ready to deliver my icebreaker in next 3 or 4 days. Do you think if a VP education approaches a member and comforts them and make them feel like it's nothing, just a speech, they are more willing to deliver that speech?
I have a contradictory answer, Anuj. I absolutely believe that a speech should ideally take like a 2 weeks of time to be written and then practiced and delivered. I'm very old school like that. But DTM Saurav told me once about this thing called ad-libs, where you prepare the beginning and the end, and you are a very confident speaker. You have to be a very confident speaker, which he is for that matter, to be able to deliver a speech perfectly. And he has completed so many parts. I know there was an area director who in C2 who would do the same. Toastmaster Padma, she is an excellent speaker, again from the school of ad-libs, who would prepare the beginning and end and would come as a natural and finish her speeches. So you have to know. For example, I'm sure you're of the same sort as well, who can deliver speeches perfectly in 1 week of time. As VP education or a mentor, as Sunil rightly said, if you have that member who is capable of doing it, even 2 days is nothing, right? We've given election pitches preparing it in the morning. We've all done that. So it just depends on which level, on which mindset a member is. I would take 2 weeks to write a speech. Sunil takes a day. You take a week. It just depends on where the member is in their level and what they are capable of. And then it's just that push from the VP education or the mentors. VP educations are not villains, everyone. They are the nicest. Let's just cooperate with them.
I mean, comforting usually comes up with the fact that in Toastmasters, a lot of people come in to eradicate that fear of public speaking, right? That stage has fear, correct? And I've emphasized it at a lot of points, a lot of places, that it's the unwillingness of the member to come up on the stage is due to that fear, right? So that comfort from either mentor or VP education, right, is like that you are amongst friends. That's how
Yes.
that's comforting, right? That you are amongst friends, you can go up and speak anything. And once you get that courage to come up on the stage, right? And I've seen people who have started enjoying being on the stage after they got that comfort of the audience and of their members of the VP education. They started coming again and again on the stage. It's that rush, right? Once you get that kick from the stage, you can't.
But that
face.
comfort only is needed
Exactly.
initially. Right now, I have not delivered a single speech in the last 6 months. It is not because I am not comfortable to go on stage, because of whatever reason. So at times it's not just the comfort, you have to remind them why you had joined Toastmasters. You had not joined Toastmasters just to give your district officer speech every year. So it just depends on what the situation is.
Correct.
Just like how a mentor tailors each mentee and mentor them accordingly, VP Education should also approach any member with a tailored mindset,
Yes.
and maybe if comfort is required, comfort them. If motivation is required, motivate them.
Yes, and a very wise DTM Rishabh has taught me that motivation and inspiration are different. If needed, inspire them as well.
Since we have spoken about all different roles at different points of time during our podcast, can you quickly go through all the club leader roles in a brief?
See, briefly explaining all the roles will be very difficult. I think all the club officers, if you're taking up a role, go attend TLI, COTP.
Sunil
Very,
is like,
very
no, I
important.
will not tell you.
No, briefly explaining it's very difficult, okay. But I can give you a small idea of what exactly those roles would mean, okay. So imagine that a club, a small club is like an organization, a big organization, multinational firm, okay. And these club officers are like the executives of that organization, okay. Starting with the SA, the sergeant at arms, which we say, like, imagine that person to be the admin manager of the organization or the admin executive who takes care of all the logistics, all the work, all the infrastructure required for the organization to work properly, right? So that is taken care by the SA. Whatever is required in the club for that club meeting to become successful, to have a smooth execution of that club meeting, that is the job, that is the work which needs to be done by the SA. Right? Moving to the secretary, secretary is like the secretary of the organization, takes care of all the paperwork, whatever is happening, where it is happening, it needs to be documented. Right? A lot of clubs that don't do it, but one of the most important job of secretary is the minutes of the meeting. Right? So that people who have not attended the meeting, they know what exactly happened in that meeting, right? MOM. So secretary takes care of those and all the other paperwork, right? Also, secretary has power to vote for a lot of places, right? Then coming to treasurer, treasurer is like the CFO of the organization, chief financial officer, finance officer, takes care of all the money, takes care of all the finances. Especially if you're a community club where the money is being pooled in, right? Treasure becomes a very important role to take, where we are expending where all the expenditure is going away, right? How much money is coming in, how much money is going out? Can we sustain throughout the term, throughout that 6 months with that money, whatever money pool we have, right? And in some of the organizations who follow the rules word by word, they also have an audit committee who just comes in to check your books and ledgers that you have done a good job or not as a treasurer and you have managed the finances properly or not. Right? One thing which we follow in Toastmasters is you don't have to put money from your own pocket for any of the events, right? Whatever is given to you, you follow that, you use that, right? Or you have to pull in, right? But somebody should not be at a disadvantage. So treasurer's job becomes very important, especially in a community club where you have to pull in money, and also a lot of corporate organization where the club members are pulling in money. That's where it is very important. Then we have the role of vice president public relation. That person like the PR or the marketing officer of the organization, takes care of the branding, goodwill of the organization, the image of the organization, of the club across the board. People should know the club, they should be aware that this club exists, right? And that should also be in a good light, right? Also, one of the side effect, the added bonus of this role is that you attract a lot of guests. So if you're doing a good PR, a lot of people who are non-Toastmasters would obviously come to your organization or to your club to be a part of it. If that image is good, if the goodwill is created amongst the audience. Coming to the PP membership, consider that person as the HR of the organization, the human resources of the organization. the person's main job is the retention of members, right? You should know what exactly is happening in the organization, in the club, how the members are perceiving the meetings, right? If anybody has any grievances, that should be taken care, and that is the job taken care by the VP membership. Retention of members are very important. That's what is taken care of. Now coming to the VP education. Now this is somebody like the CEO of the organization, Chief Executive Officer, right? Takes care of all the things, the actual work, the execution of the club meetings, which is happening every week or fortnightly, right? Be it making an agenda, finalizing what exactly should be on the agenda, who will be our speaker, evaluators, the tag role takers, right? Or do we want to do something new in this meeting? How the execution will go ahead, right? that is being taken care by the chief executive officer or the VP education of the club. Right? And finally, last but not the least, is the president, and that is the president of the organization, the person who is not exactly doing everything, but is a role model for all the members in the club,
Accountable.
right? And accountable. Anything that goes wrong in the club, you are the face. Now you have to go ahead and explain. You might not have done that, right? But your whole club's responsibility is your own shoulders, right? That Spider-Man dialogue, with great responsibility, with great power comes great responsibility. President has that power, and hence the responsibility and the accountability comes on their shoulder. So president is like the backup of everything. Somebody is not available, you do the task, right? You are the one who is going to inspire, motivate, and become that role model that everybody should look up to in the club. So how the president
Members
is?
are the shareholders.
And members are the shareholders and on the employees, right, of like the organization, who are required for that club to function properly, right? And employees also get promotion, right? So just like you start taking up leadership roles, you get promoted, and that's how it is. But this is a brief idea of what exactly these roles are and how you could approach them.
That's it, DTM Abhishikta, DTM Sunil.
Yay!
Thank you very much for coming to Anything and Everything with Anuj. If you enjoyed the video,
Please like.
Share.
and subscribe and take up club leadership role.
Thank you, everyone.
See you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.